In this video, we will look at Section C of Paper 2. This is the unseen poetry section. An unseen poem is one you have not studied before in class. In this section, you will answer one question on an unseen poem and then a second question where you compare it with another unseen poem. In this video, we will be looking at the format of the questions, how to deal with the first unseen poem, how to compare the unseen poems, some advice on using quotations, and then a few final tips and reminders. In Section C of Paper 2, there are two questions. The first is worth 15 marks and asks you to analyse the first unseen poem. The second is worth 25 marks and asks you to compare the first poem with a second one. To answer both the questions, you have 60 minutes in total. Spend about 20 minutes on the first question and 40 minutes on the second. A reminder of these timings will be printed at the start of the section. You should spend up to 5 minutes making notes on the first unseen poem. In this example, it is The Richest Poor Man in the Valley. Read the introductory blurb carefully because it gives you a clue about what the poem is about. Here, the poem focuses on how to live your life. The question will always ask you to write about the poem's effect on you. You'll also see a list of prompts above the poem. These remind you what to think about. You should aim to comment on the subject, the structure, organisation, the language, the key ideas, your own thoughts and feelings. The most important area is usually language. This includes the writer's word choices and techniques such as similes, metaphors and personification. Key ideas the poet wants us to think about are also important. Read the poem once, then read it again, highlighting anything that links to living a happy and contented life. At this stage, you're just gathering evidence. You'll spend about 15 minutes writing the answer. Start your answer by briefly explaining what the poem is about. You could also comment on the title, as shown in the example. Note how it uses the keywords from the question, how to live your life. Next, work through the poem using your highlighted evidence to explain how it shows ideas about living a good life. You should already be familiar with this method from other literature and English language questions. You do not need to use everything you have highlighted, but try to cover the beginning, middle, and end of the poem. The ending is especially important because it is the last thing the reader remembers. A copy of the example answer is also available on the ETV page or YouTube site. It does not include everything you could say, but it shows you how to write about the poem. Since the poem is printed in front of you, you must use quotations and analyse them closely. For the second question, you'll be asked simply to compare the first poem with a second one. You should spend about 40 minutes on this, including planning time. Start by approaching the second poem in the same way as the first. Recheck the introductory blurb, then read the second poem twice. On the second reading, highlight ideas that link to living a happy and contented life. Use the same prompts as before that are printed above the poem. Focus especially on language and key ideas. Now briefly list possible links between the first and second poem. This will likely be a mixture of similarities and differences. You do not need an equal number of each. Begin writing your answer by making a clear link between the two poems. Then work through the second poem using your notes and evidence. This time you must make links to the first poem as you go. This is called an integrated approach and is the most effective way to compare. You do not need the same number of similarities and differences, just make clear and consistent links between the poems. It is also completely acceptable to repeat the points you made in your first answer in the comparative task, so long as they are relevant. A strong answer will be succinct, short and precise, like the example shown, and should be twice the length of your answer to the first question. Using connectors, linking words, will help to show your comparisons clearly. These are highlighted in green. There are different ways to use quotations. The add-on, avoid writing "I know this because," use a colon instead, which is quicker and more effective. The aside, using brackets or dashes. The integrated quote. This is the best method because it helps your writing flow and shows you are analysing the text closely. All three of these methods work for all literature questions and the reading sections of the language papers too. The key point is to support your ideas with clear and accurate quotations. This helps to A. explain your ideas clearly and B. make your argument more convincing. Spend 5 minutes checking your work. Make sure your ideas are clear, relevant and well supported. Whilst it depends on the size of your handwriting, you are aiming to write a side for the 15-mark question. The comparison task answer should be twice that because you will have twice as long to write it. Divide your time like this. 5 minutes note making for the first question, 15 minutes writing. 10 minutes note making for the second question, 25 minutes writing. 5 minutes checking both answers. A useful tip. The number of marks is roughly the number of minutes you should spend writing each answer. This leaves enough time for planning and checking. Finally, many students do well in this section. You're not expected to know a right answer because the poems are new to you. The examiner rewards clear, sensible points supported by evidence. Good luck and take care.